Okay, here's a thought. What if your life isn't a story that you're writing from scratch, but one you're slowly remembering? Today, we are diving deep into a truly mind-bending idea that connects a sci-fi blockbuster, ancient mysticism, and, believe it or not, quantum physics. So yeah, let's get into it.
It all really kicks off with this line. A classic, right, from the Oracle in the Matrix. On the surface, it just sounds like a cool, confusing paradox, a classic fate versus free will riddle. But what if it's not a riddle? What if it's a literal description of how reality works?
That's exactly what we're going to explore in this explainer. The absolutely stunning possibility that this idea, the idea that your big choices are somehow already made, has these incredibly deep roots in ancient philosophy. And, what's wild, it finds these startling echoes in the bizarre world of modern physics.
So our journey doesn't begin in some digital world, but way, way back in the distant past. We're talking the 12th century, with a mystic who basically mapped out the entire logic of the Matrix almost 1,000 years before the movie ever came out.
This mystic's name was Ibn Arabi, and he had this concept called the fixed prototypes. Now, the core idea is this. Before you were ever born, you existed as a kind of eternal essence, right? A unique possibility just floating in the cosmic mind. And in that timeless state, your essence asked to experience life in a very specific way. So your life, as you're living it, is just the universe saying, okay, request granted. And when you put them side by side, the similarity is just stunning. The Oracle says your choice exists outside of our normal linear time, that it's just a fundamental part of who you are. Well, 9 centuries earlier, Ibn Arabi was saying your life is the universe fulfilling a choice your timeless essence already made. It is the exact same logic. So how is that even possible? Well, think of it like a movie. We experience time like a character in the film, one frame at a time, moment by moment. The future feels totally unknown, but for the director, or for what Ibn Arabi would call the divine mind, the entire film reel, from the opening credits to the final scene, already exists all at once in this sort of eternal now. Okay, so let's switch gears. If mysticism gives us the what, could modern science actually give us a hint of the how? For that, we have to venture into the incredibly strange and fascinating world of quantum mechanics. You see, down at the tiniest level, reality gets really fuzzy. A particle, like an electron, isn't just in one place. It's more like a ghost. It exists as a wave of probability, which is just a cloud of all its potential locations, all at once. It only snaps into place, becomes real in one single spot when we look at it, when we measure it. And this is the crucial part. Look how these 3 totally different fields, mysticism, sci-fi, quantum physics, all seem to be describing the exact same process. Whether you call it a fixed essence, a pre-made choice, or a wave of probability, it's the same idea. An eternal potential collapses into a single experienced reality, and it happens through an act of awareness.
This is known as the observer effect, and it is honestly one of the most profound and mind-melting discoveries in all of science. It basically suggests that reality isn't this fixed objective thing that we just watch. No, the very act of looking at it, of being conscious of it, is what turns possibility into actuality.
Which brings us right back to the Oracle. She doesn't say you're here to change your choice. She says you're here to understand it. And in quantum terms, the act of conscious understanding, well, that is the collapse. Your purpose then isn't to create a brand new destiny, but to bring your pre-existing potential into focus, just by using the lens of your own awareness. Okay, so all of this is leading to the most radical, most out there idea yet. What if we have cause and effect completely backwards? What if we're not being pushed by our past, but actually pulled by our future?
In some corners of quantum physics, there's a theoretical concept called retrocausality. It's the absolutely wild idea that the future can reach back in time and influence the past, that the outcome of an experiment can somehow determine what happened at the very beginning of it.
So instead of thinking about your life as this path you're hacking out of the jungle into the unknown, imagine this instead. The fully realized highest version of you, your perfected self, already exists out there in the future, and it's acting like a powerful magnet, sending back these intuitive pulls and gut feelings to guide your present self along the exact path to becoming it. And wouldn't you know it, Ibn Arabi had a name for this perfected self. He called it al-insan al-kamil, the perfect human. And Neo's journey as the One, it's a perfect cinematic version of this exact idea.
He becomes the bridge between two worlds. He's the one who can see the underlying code, and he's the one figure who is absolutely essential for the survival of his entire universe.
So, how do we tie all this together? We've got mysticism, movies, quantum physics. Let's try to synthesize all of it into one powerful concept that we can actually use to think about our own lives. In a field called chaos theory, there's a term called a strange attractor. It's basically a point that a complex system, like the weather or a stock market, will inevitably drift towards, no matter where it starts. So think of your perfect itself as your own personal strange attractor. This frames your destiny not as some rigid script you have to follow, but as a powerful center of gravity that's constantly, gently guiding your growth. So the ultimate takeaway here is that this whole debate, free will versus destiny, it might be a false choice. They could just be two parts of the same system. Your destiny is the timeless potential of your soul, the wave. Your free will is the conscious act of observation that makes that potential real, the particle. In the end, the observer, the observation, and the observed, they're all one and the same thing, you. And once you start seeing this pattern, you see it everywhere. It's in the dream within a dream reality of Inception. It's absolutely central to Dune, where Paul Atreides is tragically pulled forward by a future he can see but just can't escape. This isn't some obscure theory. It's a theme that shows up again and again in our most profound stories. This completely reframes the human journey, doesn't it? Maybe we aren't here to struggle and grind and try to become something we're not. Maybe we're already whole, and our life is just the beautiful, sometimes challenging, but always fascinating process of remembering and understanding why we chose this particular experience in the first place. So I'll just leave you with this final question to think about. When you face a big choice, when you feel that little intuitive nudge in one direction, what does it feel like? Does it feel like you're reacting to the pushes and shoves of your past? Or does it feel like you're responding to the gentle pull of the person you are already becoming? Thanks for exploring this cosmic code with us.